The human spirit is constantly searching for new experiences, new places to explore, new ways to grow. It's in our DNA to never be still, always moving forward, advancing. And from the very moment we learned to trust in the north, we have been able to explore further. Progress has accelerated. And now, thanks to those early pioneers, the entire world is our playground. Life itself is a journey, and like all adventures, they have to start somewhere. The story began here in the small town of Husqvarna more than 100 years ago, and will also be the starting point for my journey north with the new Norden 901. So I just heard about this old Swedish guy called Arne that used to race Husqvarnas, who's a speedway guy, enduro, motocross, that kind of thing. And apparently he's got a workshop full of old Husqvarna motorcycle collection. Let's go. Witnessing firsthand the passion these guys have for the brand is truly inspiring. Giving them the chance to see the Norden before anyone else was awesome, because it was legends like these guys that put the brand on the map in the first place. They were so excited to see the Norden. They may be past their prime when it comes to racing, but I saw their eyes light up at the prospect of hitting the road on one of these bikes.
Mycket fint. Titta.
With this sort of passion out there, it's easy to see that the Norden 901 will carry the spirit of Husqvarna Motorcycles far into the future.
4%. Yeah, 4%, 12%.
I think many people, no matter how much they suppress it, have a deep desire to escape. Simply pack their bags and head north, or wherever instinct takes them. That feeling was so overwhelming for me that it's literally become my life's mission. It usually doesn't take long before an adventure is testing the outer boundaries of your comfort zone. I turned off the main road onto an old Oxabanan trail, and there it was, a motocross track, just inviting me to have some fun. I always feel the further off the beaten track you go, the more liberating a journey becomes. At this point, my journey had only just begun, but I was already feeling completely liberated. All my exploring has given me such a deep understanding of the world around me. This is the advantage of travel, and when you do it with a trusty two-wheel companion, it becomes so much more enriching. When you're really enjoying the journey, the hours pass by almost unnoticed. Although I had already spent much of the day in the saddle, I was keen to ride on to catch a midnight sunset over the North Sea. Getting to the shoreline proved to be a real test of the Norden suspension, but in this case, however, the effort was well worth it. It's often only the first night camping out that you get the feeling you're on a real adventure. And when you have epic views like this, you remind yourself why you're out here in the first place. So it's like almost midnight, just camping here. The sun's gone down, but it's still pretty daylight. Good night. I'm always looking for the most adventurous route to travel, which meant it wasn't long before the GPS led me off the tarmac and into the wilderness on the Trans-European Trail. You get that remote feeling out here. It's like there's more chance of seeing a moose than another vehicle. The wild terrain out here is a stark reminder that the comforts of urban life are far behind you. Yet on the Norden, I felt perfectly at home. You know the saying, hindsight is 20/20. Well, most epic fails on an adventure start just like that. Never assume you know how deep a puddle is, even if it looks like it's fun to blast through it. One thing is for sure, you will at some stage need to do some running repairs on your motorcycle. With the bike so deep in water, it's always better to be safe than sorry. So being prepared with the required parts to perform quick maintenance just means your journey won't end too soon. Heading north, carving through the corners on the scenic Brudfalsvagen road, the Norden's agility continues to impress me. By now, I had had plenty of time to get familiar with my new best friend. With the seat in its highest position and the handlebars adjusted forward, my 6'3" stature had simply moulded itself into the well-shaped ergonomics. Sweden continued to surprise me every step of the way. Who knew that in the land of nature and electric cars, there would also be so many gas-guzzling cruisers? You know, when I first started travelling on two wheels, every journey was planned. I was prepared. I knew where I was going to ride every single day. I even knew where I was going to sleep. But as time went on, and I gained more experience, I gained more trust in both myself and my machinery. I would take more risks. I would follow my nose. I would go to places that I did not know what was around the next corner. And that for me was where my journeys came alive. I was riding into the unknown, but I was excited for what I would find. So many times on my travels, I would come around a corner or crest a hill to find beauty. An amazing view, lakes, snow-capped mountains, tracks leading into the distance. That's what made travel so addictive for me. In some of the places I've travelled, you can spend hours looking for a suitable camp spot. Luckily, that's not a problem in Sweden. Just pick a lake, pitch your tent, light a fire and relax. And it's a real bonus that at many of the lakes here, you can buy fresh fish. No need to carry food, and a sure way to load up on your omega-3s. A little overnight rain made the riding conditions perfect. On days like this, I'm keen to just get going and enjoy the ride. Nothing like a stone spray sandwich and some crisp morning air for breakfast. One thing I've learned on my travels is that the moment is here and now. Take the time to experience as much as you can, no matter how touristy it seems. With so much still to see in the world, the chances of going back to the same place again are slim. Oh yes, and don't forget to capture the moment. You'll be surprised how many things you forget by the end of your trip. The real gems on any journey are often well-hidden secrets reserved for locals only. I heard about this incredibly scenic route from a Swedish traveller, so I decided to deviate from my northerly bearing and go and find it. The Vildmarksvägen loop would add an extra 500 kilometers to my trip, but the steeper climbs and open road would give me a chance to really put the torquey parallel twin through its paces. At the highest point, you come across an incredibly scenic area called Stekkenjokk. For over 12 years, they extracted tons of copper, zinc, silver and gold from here before it became a protected area. It was clear that it was this beautifully rugged landscape that was the inspiration for the Norden. It's a good thing the Norden has good brakes, because the further north you go, the more reindeer traffic you come across. No wonder Santa uses these hardy animals to pull his sleigh. There are plenty of spares if he has a breakdown. I believe to truly experience a country you need to go all in, food and everything. So if the locals eat fish here in Sweden, then so would I. Alongside one of the lakes, I met this guy, Falle Gustafsson, a real fish expert. He showed me how to smoke a fish to perfection. They may not look so appetizing, but those smoky flavors are delicious. At this point, I was close enough to hear the Arctic Circle calling, so it was time to get going. Onwards and upwards. Some 2,000 kilometers in the saddle, and I finally made it. The last time I was this far north was on the American continent in Alaska. It was my goal to reach the Arctic Circle on this journey, but I think we often put too much emphasis on the destinations. We forget that it's really all about the journey. As I filled up with gas, I knew that it was the adventure that I will remember most. Now I just need to find another perfect camping spot to make this day even more special. Snowy mountains in the distance. It's 9 o'clock PM. Sun's already shining. I'm not sure if I could find a better place, to be honest. Falle, the fish guy I met earlier, told me a few things about cooking fish out in the wild. This was the perfect moment to put my newfound travel chef skills to the test. It doesn't get much better than this. Fresh fish cooked on an open fire, a local beer, and a view reserved for the few who make it all the way up here. That's what we travel for. That's why we ride. I was now far enough north to experience a day that never ends. And man, it's times like this that I wish the day would never end. This epic moment was the perfect time to reflect on an awesome journey. Travelling north on the Norden 901, in the land that literally inspired its name, was something I will remember for a long time. It was the perfect travel companion for me, and will be for many others, I'm sure. Riding along the edge of the Akajra Sea, you truly feel you have left civilization behind. Basically, how every escape should feel. But like all journeys, where one ends, another one begins. And as this one now draws to a close, I am excited about where the road will take us next.
Husqvarna Motorcycles.